Got some money, got some cash, I'm rich and now I'm sad, and I wonder if I'm sad about the money that I have.
This is interesting. I feel like Bill hasn't written that many things that are super minor like this. But if we know anything about Bill Wurtz's music, is that this is going to go probably to 1,000 different places, probably to 1,000 different harmonic centers, do all kinds of cool things. So where are we to begin with? We are in F sharp minor. It's a minor sort of walk down. Basically what's happening there is we're switching the quality of the minor chord with each movement. Now this can happen with the bass line. So here's basically what's happening. The first chord is just F sharp minor. It's just like a minor triad. That's it. And then we're gonna drop that top note. And now what we've turned this chord into is we've added the major seventh. So we now have minor, minor, major seven. Although, I know, that's a ninth technically, so. That's like a beautiful chord, and it really works as a default minor sound. It's like a true minor sound. Now what I mean by that is that sometimes people will play the next chord in the sequence, which is minor 7. We've dropped that note down another one, right? Now this is F sharp minor 7. Now the minor 7th chord is an interesting one. I had some professors in college that made the argument that the minor 7th chord is not a true minor chord. They made an interesting and fairly compelling argument for that by saying that, look, this chord is not really designed to sit there on its own. It's more so designed to function as a movement to some other place. In this case, a 2 to a 5. 2, 5, 1, right? As in a 2, 5, 1. The minor 7th chord really, its most common usage is as a 2 chord. Therefore, the argument was made that it's not a true minor chord because you wouldn't really sit there and just leave that as sort of the root. And of course, you know, then people like Herbie Hancock came along and wrote things that used exclusively minor 7th chords and kind of put a challenge to that idea. But I understand the basic idea behind it. This can settle as home base. You know, like, it feels complete, right? As opposed to, that doesn't really feel like it's settled. It kind of wants to keep going, right? You know, it kind of just wants to keep going around that circle of fifths. But if you just make it straight minor, that works. Now, this other chord that we just introduced, the second chord in Bill's sequence is that minor major 7 sound. The idea is that that can also feel pretty settled, right? If we played, it does feel pretty rooted. It feels pretty settled, as opposed to, once again, it wants to keep going, right? So it does make sense. But at any rate, we go regular minor triad, minor major 7, minor 7, then we go one more. Now, this can kind of do two things. Remember how we just said that minor 7th chord, its real function is kind of as like a 2 that would want to move to a 5? That's basically what we're doing. Now, whether you move that bass note or not, it kind of does the same kind of thing. Let's keep the bass note where it was. Kind of still sounds like that 5 chord, as in a 2, 5. That's a very common minor sort of harmonic progression. There is no bass note, really. He's only played the first F sharp in the bass at the beginning, and then it kind of just floats there with no bass note. So we don't actually define whether it's still over the F sharp or if we've moved now to that B in the bass. Really quickly, before we go any further, I just want to remind you that the course platform is now live. I'm so excited about this. There is currently an intro to piano course that is up on there now. It is a full instructional beginner's course for piano, and it has over 140 exercises, all with their own examples, so you can follow along and really work on your basic piano skills. And we're going to be adding more courses regularly, and you can get access to all of it with a single monthly subscription, so be sure to check that out in the link below. You guys, that is like the single greatest way you can support the channel, and I'm so grateful to you for that. So be sure to check it out if you get a chance, and we'll see you over there. All right, let's keep going.
Sad, and I wonder if I'm sad about the money that I have. Some boats on my plane,
And again.
hotel where I'm staying, just in case I ever have to swiftly get away.
Right there. We end here. Would that be considered a Picardy third? Picardy third is basically this idea we hear it a lot in Bach, where like you expect something to end minor because the way that the piece has been up until this point has been very minor, and you would have just expected to end that way, but it doesn't. It ends major. It throws us for a loop by changing the quality of the chord when you're expecting a minor chord, but instead it gives you a major chord. We call that a Picardy third, and it sets us up for the next place that we're going. Check it out.
And the window is broken.
We've opened this whole thing into a major sounding context. Now it's happy, right? We started with this minor sound, and now we've landed setting it up, and we go to the key of A.
Get away. And the window is broken and the cold winds are blowing in at me.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Bill will include these chords that aren't bringing us to a new place necessarily. They are a sort of interjection to disrupt maybe what your ear is expecting to hear for just a split second, to offer a tremendous amount of color, an interesting sound, just for a second before we go back into another section. And what that is here, we've moved now to the key of A. And we kind of land on this this B sus chord, and I'm hearing a minor third in there.
And the window is broken and the cold winds are blowing in at me.
Okay, so check it out. So I do hear a minor third. And then we hit this little chord. What is it?
In at me.
Huh. Okay, so the bass note is definitely going from B to E. So that whatever chord we're on here is some variation of an E chord, like a 1 to a 4, something like that. I'm getting this type of sound. It's like almost like just an E major 7 sound.
Blowing in at me.
I'm definitely hearing that up top and that in the bass. So it's something like this. This is kind of like a B major chord over E, which sounds pretty correct. I'm trying to hear if there's any additional sounds in there. Might just be that. Might just straight up be like an E major 7 sound. But I don't think, is the third even in there?
Winds are blowing in at me.
I don't think it is. I think that's what makes it kind of sound a little bit more open, is that it's just sort of, it's this B major chord, and we just added an E in the bass. That's super clever. Yeah, wow, that sounds super nice.
That's when I knew that the fairy tale was true, and tomorrow I'm going out to sea.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Okay, wait.
That's when I knew that the fairy tale was true.
I think all that's the same type of thing. That's when I knew that yeah. Ah, that sounded like a 1/4. Something like that. That's... yeah. Up a half step? Wow.
That's when I knew that the fairy tale was true. And tomorrow I'm going out to sea. Got some money in my...
Woohoo! From B flat major 7 back to this F sharp minor. And I think we mentioned it last time we talked about Bills. Like, a lot of this harmony is unbounded. It's just free to kind of move about from place to place without feeling like it has to always come back to the same place, but yet it still keeps these thematic elements going and continues to revisit things that were brought up before. So I mean, we're still using... What a transition. Wow.
And it makes me mad because...
Yeah. That's another thing. That's a classic minor chord progression type of sound, dropping down to that flat 6 chord in the case of F sharp minor. That's D7. Really nice sound.
Some money in my hand, and it makes me mad because I don't know what money means.
Flipped it major.
Everyone
Nice.
knows that the world is cold and you can warm it up with a little true love. And I wish to explain
Those little interjections that lead us from place to place, adding tons of color, but not totally changing where we're going. That's the stuff I love it. And you guys, we're actually going to break this video up into 2 parts because there is so much to talk about, and I don't want to make this video 20-something minutes long, which is exactly what it would be if we included everything in this individual video. So be sure to check back in a couple days, and we're gonna post part 2 of going over this unbelievable composition.